It shatters, doesn't it? That moment of clarity when you realize you've been handing out pieces of yourself like free samples at a grocery store. You thought love was about connection, but you were merely a commodity, packaged, marketed, sold. You felt the warmth of her gaze, a false light that made you believe you were something more than a figment of her imagination, a projection cast on the screen of her desires. But when the credits rolled and the lights came on, you weren't the hero. You were just dust. You stood there, naked and unmasked, in a world that painted you as a character in someone else's play. You were waiting for applause, but all you got was silence. That's betrayal, my friend. That's the wound of not being seen, the heartache of self-abandonment, of losing yourself in the pursuit of her approval, her affection, her love. You thought the applause meant you belonged, but it was the sound of your own heart breaking, the sound of your soul whispering, "You let yourself be taken." You said yes, when you should have screamed no. A micro scene etched deep in your memory, her voice, smooth as honey, wrapping around your will. She needed you, didn't she? Or maybe you needed her to need you. You were available, always available, even when it cost you your dignity. You felt the thrill of being wanted, of being chosen, but that choice was a mirage, just a flicker of approval in the desert of your worth. You let her mold you into what she desired, and in doing so, you lost the essence of who you are. People-pleasing isn't love. It's as denial masked as devotion. You traded your soul for a moment of connection, but what you got in return was a prison of your own making. The more you bent, the less you were respected. She sensed the fragility of your identity, and like a shadow, it slipped away from grasp. Real connection demands respect for oneself first. You must become the fortress that guards your heart. When you learn to say no to her demands, to her expectations, that's when you open the door to authenticity. That's when you reclaim your power. Do you remember the last time you felt safe? Was it when you abandoned your own needs for hers? That false sense of security, a warm blanket thrown over icy truths. You thought that by being present, by sacrificing your identity, you would create a haven for both of you. But that emotional safety, it is a trap, a trick played by your fragile psyche to keep you blind. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the painful journey toward your true self. But to walk that path, you must face the monsters lurking in your shadows, the fears of rejection, the self-hatred, the longing for validation. Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart." But you were too busy looking outward, hoping she would be the lighthouse in your storm. By abandoning your boundaries, you slowly depleted yourself, and in that depletion, you became a ghost. You were there, yet not there, fading in the glow of her approval. And she, transfixed by the light, never saw the darkness that wrapped around your core. You were a shell, a hollow vessel waiting to be filled by her fierce love. But love doesn't serve like that. It demands reciprocal respect, and when you offer none to yourself, you plunge into the depths of despair. Here's the kicker. In your quest to be who she wants, you believed you could control her perception of you. You thought you could manipulate the drama, twisting your role to fit her narrative, all while convincing yourself you were being genuine. But in losing yourself, you lost control of the only thing you ever truly had, yourself. You danced on the strings of her expectations, becoming a marionette in a play that didn't even have your name on it. But Jung warned that true power lies not in compliance, but in establishing fierce internal boundaries. You can't control how others perceive you. You can only control how you present yourself to the world. When you stop chasing validation, it's liberating. It's the moment you find your voice, your essence, stripped of the roles forced upon you. There it is, the moment you choose to sever those fraying cords that bind you to falsehood. Picture this, a ritual, raw and visceral. You stand naked, not just in body, but in soul, ready to cut ties with everything that holds you back. You take the knife of self-awareness and slice through the chains of expectation. You feel the weight drop away, the silence amplifying your heartbeat. You don't need more healing. You need to stop lying about who you are. That's the truth that strikes like lightning, brutal, illuminating, liberating. In this silence, you find power. You find clarity. You find freedom in solitude, the sacred space to cultivate your true self. You were never free because you never set boundaries. You remember that first time you said no, and the weight of relief washed over you? The deep breath after cutting the emotional cord, a solid grounding in your own essence. The quiet of a morning, standing alone in your peace, with that newfound awareness, real and raw. Your heart beating in its own rhythm, no longer dictated by another's desires. Don't keep this. Send it to the person still handing away their power, to everyone but themselves. And when you do, let it echo in the hollow spaces where self-doubt once thrived. It tells time to break the cycle. Step into your truth and refuse to play a part in someone else's story. Stand alone, unapologetically real, and the world will finally see you, not as a character, but as a man. You thought it would feel like freedom, didn't you? But the truth is, stepping into your own power often feels like stepping into a void. It's terrifying. You're stripped of the false comforts that come from playing the role, and suddenly, you're faced with the stark reality of who you are when the mask is off. You feel lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. This isn't just an awakening, it's a reckoning. You've been programmed to seek validation outside yourself, to chase the approval of women, friends, society, as if those nods and smiles could fill the gaping holes in your identity. But let me tell you something, that chase is a bottomless pit. The more you seek, the more you lose yourself. You've been so busy trying to be what others want that you forgot what you wanted, not just from relationships, but from life itself. See, you were conditioned from a young age to believe that love means being agreeable, that keeping the peace is paramount, that your worth hinges on how well you fit into someone else's narrative. But every time you bent to please, you sacrificed a piece of your authenticity. You became a chameleon, shifting colors to match the whims of whoever was in front of you. And when the lights dimmed, when the moment of warmth faded, what remained? A hollow shell, missing the very essence that makes you, you. Jung warned about this path, about losing oneself in the service of another. The cost of emotional overavailability is steep. It robs you of your essence, your desires, your dreams. And when you finally face the truth, the inevitable question arises. Who the hell are you without the facades, without the roles you've played? It's a haunting realization. You begin to see the threads of your life intertwining into a tapestry of fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of solitude, the fear of being unworthy. But step back for a moment. What if those fears are just shadows, illusions crafted by a mind desperate to cling to the familiar? What if breaking free means confronting those shadows head-on, shining a light into those dark corners, and reclaiming every piece of yourself? Individuation isn't some romanticized journey. It's messy, painful, and often isolating. But let me tell you this, it's necessary. Every cut you make into the fabric of your self-betrayal is a step toward liberation. It's the fire that burns away the dross, revealing the gold beneath. But you have to be willing to face the flames. Do you remember the last time you felt genuine desire, an urge that came from deep within, unhindered by the need for approval? That spark is your true nature, your wild, unrefined self. And it longs for expression, for connection, but not the kind that demands your submission. It craves partnership, where both individuals stand side by side, whole and unafraid. Women too are searching for this authenticity. They may not always articulate it, but deep down they crave a man who knows himself, who holds his ground, who can navigate the turbulent waters of emotions without crumbling into a heap of anxiety. They want someone who won't dissolve into a puddle of pleasing behavior at the first sign of conflict or discontent. They want a man who is secure in his own skin, who resonates with the confidence of knowing his worth is not dictated by external validation. But the bitter truth is that many men will never reach this point. They will continue to mistake their worth for the approval they receive from women. They will remain trapped in the cycle of performance, living a life founded on the illusion of connection, an illusion that will ultimately lead to disappointment, resentment, and despair. You see, when you abandon your boundaries, you hand the reins of your identity to someone else. You become reactive, losing your autonomy in the process. The moment you realize that seeking approval has kept you shackled is the moment you reclaim your power. The moment you decide to establish boundaries, to raise the walls around your heart, not to keep others out, but to protect your own essence. That's the moment you start the radical journey of self-discovery. When you finally stand firm in your truth, unapologetic and unyielding, you will attract those who appreciate that truth. You will draw in women who are not searching for a puppet to dance for them, but rather a partner who is engaged in their own. Exploration of life, their own individuation process. Still, it won't be easy. You will face the resistance of those who prefer the mask, the performance. They will call you distant, too serious, or emotionally unavailable. But this is their inability to reconcile your transformation with their expectations. They are still playing the old games, and you've chosen to step off the stage. In this uncomfortable space, you may find yourself standing alone. But remember that solitude is the crucible in which your authentic self is forged. It's in the quiet that you hear your own voice, not drowned out by the cacophony of others' desires. It's in those moments of stillness that you regain clarity, a clarity that allows you to navigate the world with a sense of purpose. And as you continue this journey, you will begin to feel a shift. You won't need to chase after women. They will be drawn to your energy like moths to a flame. Not because you're playing a role, but because you are, at last, an embodiment of your own truth. You're not just a character in someone else's narrative. You're the author of your own story. In that intersection, when two souls meet, each having done their individual work, there's something electric, something profound. It's not about how you complete each other. It's about how you coexist, bringing your whole selves together. It's not a transaction. It's an offering. You offer your truth, and she offers hers. There's no need for validation, no hunger to fill gaps. Instead, there's an exhilarating dance of two whole individuals standing together, sharing the depths of their being without expectation. When you finally find this connection, you'll know it because it won't feel like a performance. It will feel like home. You will recognize the beauty in silence, the strength in vulnerability, and the power in standing together without the need for approval. And here's the raw truth. If you're not willing to step into that discomfort, to confront the shadows lurking within, you will remain in the cycle of self-betrayal, playing a role instead of living your truth. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to let go of to reclaim your soul? The journey is yours to navigate. Will you seize it? Will you burn away the masks, the illusions, and find the core of who you are? Embrace it. Stand in it. Own it. Only then will you step into the world as a man, unshakable, undefinable, and utterly real.